You know how you keep buying action camera after action camera? Let's face it, you could get by with just one, and I bet you're not even using the other ones, are you? So spoiler alert, one of the essentials is obviously a camera, because you're going to need a camera to do your vlogs. Which one you get is going to depend on quite a few things, so I do recommend watching one of my latest videos where I basically break down all the popular action cameras at the moment and give you scenarios as to why I would use each one of them. Now, out of the other three items, I would say one of them, actually maybe no, two of them are pretty essential. The last one, it's nice to have and it's useful, but you don't need it, but it is a nice to have. And given that you're a gear addict, which I think you are, then you might want to consider it, just to make your footage and your videos a little bit more dynamic. I just realised I was walking in the complete opposite direction to go and get my car. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you my essential vlog items, and I'm going to, at the end, show you how I shoot a specific type of B-roll so that it helps to move my vlogs along a little bit. And this video is sponsored by Motion Array because I am going to need some music and sound effects for that B-roll sequence and those clips, so more on that later. So as I mentioned, one of the essentials is obviously a camera, and I love to use action cameras for vlogging, and I also use an action camera like the Osmo Action 4 or the Action 5 Pro when I'm vlogging over the Pocket 3, and I've got another video about why, but one of the biggest reasons is that I love the immersive feel that the action cameras have, because they have such a wide field of view that you can get so much of the background in. And when you're in a place like this, which is just so pretty, it's nice when you're walking around and you have that background and it's not just out of focus. So action cameras, for that one specific reason, is why I use them. And I'll tell you why in my other video, why I kind of stopped using the Pocket 3 for vlogging when I do that video, so keep an eye out for that one. I think there were horses in there. Also, if you're wondering, because I did say that I'm shooting with the Osmo Action 5 Pro in this video, so normally when I use the Osmo Action 5 Pro, I shoot in D-Log-M, but I really wanted to do this video really quickly, so I just wanted to dump the footage on the timeline and not have to convert it. Even though I have LUTs, it was an extra step that I didn't want to have to do, so that's why I'm using the Action 5 Pro in the normal colour profile, and it's in auto exposure, auto white balance, because I'm literally just trying to do this quickly. I don't have a lot of time because my parking's going to run out. And so the next item, because I'm using the Osmo Action 5 Pro, is you're going to want a selfie stick. And there are so many different extension rods and selfie sticks that you can use, but the one that I tend to use with the Action 5 Pro or the Osmo Action 4 is the mini extension rod, the DJI Osmo. I think it's called the Osmo Mini Extension Rod or the DJI Action Mini Extension Rod, but it's the small one, and it's the one that has the little tripod at the bottom. So if I'm out and about, obviously I can hold it out like I am now, and I don't feel like it's too long or too short, it's just the perfect length. And if I want to put the camera down, I don't have to then go and attach a mini tripod to the bottom of the stick, because it already has a little mini tripod at the bottom of it, so it's perfect. So it's all in one, and that is the one that I reach for every single time. But no matter what camera you use, you are more likely going to need to use an extension rod, and that's the one that I recommend. There is one that comes with the Action 4 and the Action 5 Adventure combo. So if you get the Adventure combo, you get the extended extension rod, which is a lot longer. So if you're doing an activity where you probably want to get more people in the frame, then that's probably going to be the better option. But because this is so small, I can literally just put it in my sling and it takes up no room. It's really lightweight as well. So that is my selfie stick extension rod of choice. So the other essential, unless you're using the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, the other essential is an external microphone, because even though something like the Osmo Action 4 or the Action 5 Pro or the Osmo 360 or any camera, one of these little action cameras, even though the audio sounds good from it, if it's windy or it's really loud, the environment's really loud, you are going to pick up a lot of that noise and the audio is just going to sound really loud in the background, and it's going to almost drown out your voice. And so what I tend to say is that if you really do want to get really clear audio and really clean audio, using an external microphone is going to be the best option. And the reason I say that you don't need it for the Ace Pro 2 is because the Ace Pro 2 has a wind guard on there. So if it's a really windy day, that wind guard on the camera actually cuts out a lot of wind, and it does a fantastic job. In terms of the background noise, it's also quite good at isolating the background noise as well. And so with the Ace Pro 2, that's one of the biggest benefits of that camera, is that you don't actually need to have an external mic. But if you get something like the Action 4 or the Action 5 Pro, or if you're using the Pocket 3, then I would definitely recommend an external microphone. And at the moment I'm using the DJI Mic 3, but you can use the Mic 2, the Mic Mini connected via Osmo Audio, which gives you wireless audio, so you don't have to plug in the receiver to the camera, and it just makes your life a little bit easier. But yeah, you're going to get really nice clean audio no matter the surroundings. And also make sure that when you are outdoors, I do this anyway, even if it's not windy, even if there's no breeze, I will still add the wind muff onto the microphone, because if the wind does pick up or if there is a breeze, then you'll start to hear that across the mics. And so this is just going to give you, again, the cleanest audio. And so I just make a habit of just leaving it on there if I'm going to be outdoors and I know I'm going to be filming outdoors. Now, before I get onto the last item, I actually said 4 in the beginning, I actually meant there are 5. But before I get onto those last 2, and the one in particular that you gear addicts probably have already, or if you don't, you probably will want one, I want to tell you about Motion Array, because I have been going around and getting little bits of B-roll and getting other bits of B-roll previously, and I use Motion Array when I want to get sound effects. So even though I've got sound effects in the B-roll clips that I have, sometimes I want to enhance those sound effects a little bit, and so I use Motion Array because you can get folders. So if you're searching for a specific sound effect, it will give you a collection of sound effects within that folder, so you don't have to keep scrolling through the library and trying to find ones that match what you're trying to look for. And then when you get that folder, you can basically find the one in there that you want to use, and then you can add it to your timeline easily. And the same goes for music. So with your B-roll clips, one of the things that kind of just enhances it a little bit, especially if you're transitioning between one area in one location to another, adding B-roll and adding some music just gives your vlog a little bit something more to it, you know. So Motion Array is also a great place to get music from, and you can search for the genre, you can search for the mood, and then you can pick the best soundtrack. And if you do choose to use Motion Array, you will get 2 months free on any annual plan, so it's well worth checking out. I've left a link in the description so that you can check it out for yourself and get a subscription if you want to. So for this, I chose a couple of tracks. I put them on my timeline, I put my B-roll clips together, and I just chose the one that kind of fit the mood the best. And when you're shooting your B-roll clips, you want to bear in mind that you're trying to not have them drag out for a long time. So I tend to recommend getting clips that are between, I'd say like 4 and 6 seconds, because when you start to put them together, you'll actually realize that 6 seconds is quite a long time. And I give myself at least 4 seconds because I want to make sure that I've got a little bit of padding at the beginning and the end of the clip, so where I'm just trying to frame up the shot and then get the nice smooth motion. And that's the other thing, you want to get smooth motion so that the footage doesn't look jerky or too quick. And also when you're doing panning shots, you want those to be as slow as possible, otherwise it's just gonna look really, it's just going to be too quick. It's going to give it a nice smooth flow when you're doing slow, smooth movements. So they are my tips for shooting B-roll. So the other, it's not essential, because if you're walking and talking and vlogging, you don't need this next one. But if you do just want to put the camera down at some point and not be holding it, then having something like a monopod is going to be really handy. And I use this one by Best 360. I don't think it's available anymore. I think there might be a different version of it. I don't know. When I looked, it wasn't there. But if you get something like that, then it means that you could actually just use it as an extension rod. It's a little bit long, but you could actually just use that as the extension rod. And then it has these little tripod feet at the bottom, and it's also got a counterweight. So if it's a little bit windy, then you can actually put it down and the camera's not going to blow about everywhere and fall over. So again, very useful. I don't use it as much as I used to, because I tend to just find myself just walking around, actually just like walking around. And if I want to put the camera down, because I use this mini extension rod, I just find a wall and I'll just put it down on the wall. And it means, again, it's one less thing that I have to carry. But it's worth mentioning anyway, because I did used to use it quite often in the past. Okay, so the last item, which is a very fun one to have, and it just adds this extra dimension, this extra layer to your vlogs, and just kind of breaks things up a little bit, is a drone. Because you can get some incredible establishing shots, and these shots are actually great for when you're, again, going from one location to the other, especially if you're driving from one location to another location. You can get some really nice establishing shots with the drone and just break things up a little bit. So the one that I'm using at the moment is the DJI Mini 3 Pro, but since I've had this one, there's been the Mini 4 Pro and also the Mini 5 Pro, which came out recently. And yeah, whichever one you get, definitely from the Mini 3 Pro, is going to give you awesome footage, and it's going to mean that you can just add that extra level of B-roll to your vlogs, which is going to look so sick. But again, like I said, you don't need it, because you could actually just get these wide establishing shots with your camera, especially because the Action 4 and the Action 5 Pro has the wide field of view. You can just use those cameras, and actually you could get a super long extension pole, put these cameras on an extension pole, and fake some drone shots as well. So obviously it's not like having a drone, because you can't go in the sky and get, you know, really cool perspectives. But if you don't want to buy a drone and you don't have a drone, that is one way that you could do it. So no matter what camera you use or what gear you use, if you're overthinking and you're not making videos, I've created a 30-day challenge for you. It is literally to stop you from overthinking. You create a video a day, short video a day for 30 days. There's a community, so you can be held accountable, you can get support and encouragement, and it's just become a really great space as well. So if you are stuck making videos, you're not making videos with all the gear that you have, then I have left a link in the description and you can check out that challenge. But thanks to Motion Ray for sponsoring this video, and I will catch you on the next one.